Hello and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of my subscribers, everyone watching, everybody all over the world. Let's just include everybody in this, all right? It is about 5 o'clock on Christmas afternoon. Through the magic of editing, you're going to see this, or not editing, excuse me, but the magic of scheduling, YouTube scheduling, you're going to see this video on Saturday, December 26th at around 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon. Which PM is in the afternoon, so what am I saying? Yes, you're going to see it at 2:30 a.m. in the afternoon, okay? Anyway, this is going to be my January 2021 TBR. Can you believe this year is almost over, all right? I mean, talk about one of the shittiest freaking years, I think, in human history, okay? You got this COVID thing going around. You got so much bad stuff going on. So let's not talk about that right now. All right? Let's talk about books. Let's talk about horror. Okay? So I must be crazy. I have actually got 16 books here that I intend to read, or I hope to read in January of 2021. 2 of those are holdovers from last month. These are review copies of books that I did not get to. So I'm not going to read the synopsis. I'm just going to show you the titles that I need to get to in January, and hopefully we'll be able to. The first one is Monster. And this is, of course, by Duncan Swan. And it says Volume 1. And I tell you what, I don't know when he's coming out with Volume 2, but this sucker is thick. I mean, it feels thick. You turn the pages, it just feels like every time you turn one page, feels like you're turning 10 pages. You know, I mean, it's a monster of a book. All right, so there you go. That is Monster. Next up is the third book in the Nick Ventnor Adventure series. This is by Ashton Macaulay. I've read the first 2 books, which was A Man of the Mountain and Whiteout. Both of them are really good. I give them not 2 stars. I believe I gave them 3 and 3.5 star ratings on Goodreads. Really enjoyed them. They're more adventure than horror, but they've got Yetis and they've got Bigfoot in them. So that's a big plus for me. All right. Next up from him is Downpour. It's another Nick Ventnor adventure. All right. And I don't know if he's going to be making any more Nick adventures. I hope he does, because they're really cool. So there you go. There's my review copies for holdovers from December. Now let's move into the review copies of books that I need to get done in the month of January. First up, we've got Wormwood. And this is by Tim Meyer and Chad Lutsky. And this will be my first time, I believe, reading either one of these authors. And I know a lot of people really love Chad's work. I just have not had a chance to read it. You know, and so I'm really looking forward to reading this, and I just wonder how similar in style both of these guys are. I guess if they're writing a book, then there must be some kind of similarity in a book together. There must be a similarity in their styles. So we're going to find out. Let's see what this is about. Let me see. And this has got the thing on it, so it's kind of hard to read, but I'll try to read it here. For some kids, Long Lake, Georgia is home, but for 14-year-old Baker Gray, it's just another stop, another town, and another state. Because of his mother's nomadic lifestyle, he's never had a best friend, never kissed a girl, and he's certainly never met anyone like Cassandra Larson, the enigmatic older girl whose idea of fun blurs the line between right and wrong. Being hopelessly led by emotions he's never felt, Baker finds himself plodding along dark paths paved by the girl he thinks he may love, a road to self-destruction where vigilante justice is encouraged and bloodshed is an art form. Sounds really cool. It's a small book, basically what you call a novella. Yeah, I can't wait to get to this one. All right, so there you go, Wormwood, Chad Lutsky, Tim Meyer. All right, next up, the author of this one reached out to me on Instagram. He asked me, he said, would you be interested in reading my book? He said, basically said it's not really horror. I think he said it was basically more dark fantasy, but I said, sure, you know what, send it to me. That'd be great. All right, and he did, and it's The Magician. And this is by J.D. Santabanez, and I hope I'm not butchering your name, J.D. So, yeah, it's by, anyway... Garel, yes it is Garel, not Carol. Garel Pereira has a quiet life. He kills anyone without remorse as long as the price is right. But everything changes the night he meets his dead mother, who opens the doors to an unknown world where angels and demons face each other in the oldest struggle of all time. From that moment, and surrounded by increasingly strange characters, the Sicario becomes a paramount piece in the eternal balance of good and evil. That doesn't, okay, now, he said it doesn't sound, it's not horror, but this sounds like some pretty cool horror to me. Sounds like some good dark fantasy and stuff. You know what? I'm kind of looking forward to reading this one. All right, so yeah, this is The Magician by J.D. Santabanez. All right. Again, if I'm butchering your name, J.D., I apologize. All right, now, earlier in the review, I've already reviewed his book, Starving Ghost at Every Thread. It was absolutely awesome. If you have not read this book, Starving Ghost in Every Thread, then go out and buy this book. Buy it on ebook, buy it paperback, whatever, but just buy it and read it because it is fantastic. So the author, E.J. LaRocca, or Eric LaRocca, I don't know why I said E.J. LaRocca, Eric LaRocca, reached out to me, and he was really grateful for the review I did of the book. And he wanted to send me a copy of his collection of novellas, which is actually just two stories, two novellas. But he sent me A Bright Enchanted Suffering. And that cover is just awesome. That kind of screams folk horror, if you ask me. I'm not really sure. I haven't read the stories yet. But yeah, that one kind of screams folk horror. You got the body that's in just covered, almost made up of roots and dirt. There's two stories in this book. The first one, he's cool enough to sign it too. You can't really see it. Let me see if I can get the glare out of it. To John, let the suffering begin. Best wishes, Eric LaRocca. All right, but there are two stories in this thing. It is the first one is called You're Not Supposed to Be Here. Second one is called Where Flames Burn Emerald as Grass. Interesting titles for both of those. There's a little bit of artwork in here too. I'm not sure who the artist is. Why don't we find out? Let's see. Let me look. All right, see what we got here. Dave Dick. That is the artist of these illustrations. It's Dave Dick. I believe there are two illustrations in here. All right, so yeah, that is A Bright Enchanted Suffering by Eric LaRocca. And I've already heard great things about this one too. So it's another one. I keep saying I'm looking forward to reading all these books just because I am, okay? All right, next up from Silver Shamrock Publishing, they sent me The Lupin Project. That's an awesome cover. That is by Elder Lemon Design. All right, really, he makes some really cool covers, or you can say it however you want it. He, When 18-year-old high school senior Eddie Senna drives down a long-abandoned logging trail with his girlfriend, all he's looking for is a little privacy. What he finds instead is a horror beyond all imagination, because the logging trail ends just behind the Tamerlane Research Facility, a super-secret lab where experiments in animal neural conditioning are being conducted. And the animals have gotten loose. And they're far more intelligent and far more deadly than anyone realizes. After an unthinkable tragedy, it falls to Eddie's girlfriend Alicia and older brother Rob to undertake a desperate search for answers. But a very powerful person is determined to cover up the details of the tragedy. That person is vicious and immoral, and he's closing in on Alicia and Rob. That is The Lupin Project. Alan LeBaron. I don't think I said his name. It's Alan LeBaron. It may be Lebarone, but I believe it's LeBaron. And if I'm wrong, sorry about that. I'm not trying to butcher anybody's name again. Next up, this is one I reached out to the author for, and he sent me a copy of it. And this is Chapel Street. And this one here had me at the tagline, The Conjuring meets Hereditary. I loved both of those movies, so if this lives up to the hype, I'm going to have a fantastic time with this book. All right? And if you've read this book and you think it doesn't live up to the hype, please do not comment that it doesn't. I really don't want to know that. I would rather read it myself and find out. All right? And I'm not trying to be rude about that. I don't mean to, but sometimes you just want to go into it blind. All right? So there you go. Rick Bakos never had a chance at happiness. After enduring the tragic death of his father in a car accident, Rick grew up to helplessly watch both his older brother Lenny and his mother Agnes succumb to madness and suicide. Nor were they the first members of his family to kill themselves. Suicide has steadily stalked the Bakos family since they first arrived in Baltimore from Bohemia at the turn of the 20th century. Turning to genealogy to better understand his self-destructive family, Rick works as a volunteer for the website Resting Place. After photographing the grave of Betty Kostek for the webpage, Rick finds himself drawn into a maelstrom of horror. Each night he finds himself inexorably drawn closer to self-destruction. Rick's only ally is a fellow volunteer named Terry Pascasil. She, too, has fallen into the suicidal spell of the late Betty Kostek. The couple soon discovers they're preparing it wasn't a coincidence. Their great-grandparents were next-door neighbors on Chapel Street nearly a century earlier. So were Betty's grandparents. Together, Rick and Terry must solve the mystery of Chapel Street before they find death at their own hands. Yes, I'm really looking forward to this one, too. I say that a lot. I'm sorry, all right? Actually, I'm not sorry. I don't care. I look forward to this reading. So there you go, all right? Chapel Street. The author is Sean Paul Murphy, by the way. Sorry about that. I keep forgetting to mention the authors. Next up, I just got this in the mail the other day. This is from Brian Moreland, and I believe it was, who was it that had this book? Was it Working Man Reads? I can't remember. I think it was. I may be wrong. Or it may have been, I don't remember. Or maybe Nick over Spooky Noodles. I don't remember. Anyway, this is The Witching House. This is by Brian Moreland. You got that nice little Blair Witch symbol going on right there. In 1972, 25 people were brutally murdered in one of the bloodiest massacres in Texas history. The mystery of who committed the killings remains unsolved. 40 years later, the abandoned Blevins house, the scene of the gruesome massacre, is rumored to be haunted. Two couples seeking adventure are about to discover the mysterious house has been waiting all these years, craving fresh prey. And down in the cellar, they will encounter a monstrous creature that hungers for more than just human flesh. Oh, hell yeah. I did it again. I'm looking forward to reading this book. I don't care. Yeah, man, this sounds awesome. All right, and there's a couple of other books that I'm going to read also. Probably put them on my February TBR. They have to do with witches. They're kind of, one's kind of a sequel or continuation of the other one. So, next up, and that is, and I said that was by Brian Moreland. This one is by, who is the author of this? Kat Ellis. I think this is a young adult book, but it sounds really awesome. And this is Harrow Lake. All right. Lola Knox is the daughter of a celebrated horror filmmaker. She thinks nothing can scare her. But when her father is brutally attacked in their New York apartment, she's quickly packed off to live with a grandmother she's never met in Harrow Lake, the eerie town where her father's most iconic horror movie was shot. The locals are weirdly obsessed with the film that put their town on the map, and there are strange disappearances which the police seem determined to explain away. And there's someone or something stalking her every move. The more Lola discovers about the town, the more terrifying it becomes, because Lola's got secrets of her own, and if she can't find a way out of Harrow Lake, they might just be the death of her. That sounds really good. Yeah. I might put this one high up on my priority list. I'm going to try to get through the review copies first, but yeah, that one might go up really high on my list after that. Next up is a Two Tales of Cosmic Horror, and this is by John Horner Jacobs, and this is a lush and seething hell. And I believe he has got another one out called Murder Ballads, and I really want to read that one as well. If you're not familiar with what a murder ballad is a song, and literally is a song in which a murder occurs during the runtime of the song. A good example of a murder ballad is Where the Wild Roses Grow by Nick Cave and Kylie Minogue. Another one, and Nick Cave actually has an album out called Murder Ballads, and if this thing was on vinyl or cassette, I would have worn this thing down to nothing. I've listened to that album so many times. I've got it on CD. Absolutely love it, all right? And it got me interested in murder ballads of old. And there's so many out there. I mean, you got songs by Johnny Cash, got songs by Willie Nelson. Red-Headed Stranger by Willie Nelson is literally a one long murder ballad, all right? Anyway, let's get back to this. This is a lush and seething hell. I started to get off on a tangent there. There you go. Anyway, two tales of cosmic horror. Bringing together his acclaimed Shirley Jackson Award-nominated novella, The Sea Dreams It Is the Sky, which is available in print for the first time, and an all-new short novel, My Heart Struck Sorrow, John Horner Jacobs turns his fertile imagination to the evil that breeds within the human soul. A brilliant mix of the psychological and supernatural, blending the acute insight of Robert Bolaño and the eerie imagination of H.P. Lovecraft, The Sea Dreams It Is the Sky examines life in a South American dictatorship, centered on the journal of a poet in exile and his failed attempts at translating a maddening text. The story is told by a young woman trying to come to grips with a country that nearly devoured itself. In My Heart Struck Sorrow, a librarian discovers Depression-era recordings from the Deep South, valuable archives of the rich folk history that survived in the face of an encroaching modernity, and an accompanying journal. But there's a reason they've been hidden for so long. The journal may in fact be a ledger of one man's descent into madness, and the records might contain the musical stylings of the devil himself. Breathtaking and haunting, A Lush and Seething Hell is a terrifying and exhilarating journey into darkness, an odyssey into the deepest reaches of ourselves that compels us to confront secrets best left hidden. All right. You know I love me some cosmic horror, so yep, definitely. All right. Next up we have got Into the Hollow. All right. And this is by Ethan Blake. Okay. And if I remember correctly, I won this in a in a giveaway on Instagram. I believe it was. Yes. There's not a synopsis for this. Well, here we go. It's the night before Halloween in the year 2020, and all hell is breaking loose. After hearing a ghostly tale of witches, cults, and curses from his father, Jack and his horror-fanatic friends venture deep into the haunted hollow in search of paranormal evidence. With high school graduation and the pressures of college looming just around the corner, the teens are determined to escape the everyday monstrosities of society and have the scariest All Hallows Eve of their lives. The veil is thin, the moon is full, and there's no telling what wicked wonders await them. That is Into the Hollow. That's a nice little novella also, so I might be able to get through that one pretty quick. Sounds pretty damn good too, doesn't it? All right, now I have told y'all so many times before how much I love the splatter western series that is put out by Death's Head Press. I'm a little bit behind because I had to, go back and I had to read some review copies and get those out. So priorities. So I've got 3, and there's another one coming out. All right, Brad Proctor over on his channel. Brad and I communicate on Instagram, and Brad is always showing me, he's like my drug dealer. He's like my drug dealer when it comes to these books. He's always showing me like the cover art and stuff for upcoming splatter western books. There's a new one coming out, and it will be book number 8, and I believe it's called The 13th Coyote. It is a shapeshifter / werewolf. Maybe were-coyote, I'm not sure. Novel by Christopher Triana. The artwork on it is absolutely fantastic. It is gorgeous. But yeah, Brad shows me these, and I'm just like, oh, Lord, not another one. I've got to read these. I love these books. I love this series, the Splatter Western series. I mean, they're just awesome, okay? I have not read one that has gone below 3.5 stars. I don't think any of them. I'm pretty sure I don't think I've rated any of them lower than 3.5 because they're just absolutely fantastic. Magpie Coffin. Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent again, so let's get back to this. So next up in book number 5, we've got from C. Derek Miller, we've got Starving Zoe. Look at these covers, man. These covers are fantastic. They're done by Justin Coons. All right? And they are just absolutely awesome, man. All right. To most, 1865 was an eye-opening year. The American Civil War was officially over, and the soldiers fortunate enough to survive the bloody conflict returned home to collect the pieces of their former lives. To young Arizonan Robert Jack, the fateful desert homecoming marked the end of all he once knew. Forgiveness is overrated. Death is final. Revenge, however, dances between the fine lines of mortality and eternity. Love always finds a way. And again, it's by C. Derek Miller. You got his wanted poster here. All right. Wanted for cradle robbing. Dang. All right. Anyway, Starving Zoe. Next up, this is going to be book number 6. And the cover on this one, with the wings in the background and everything, kind of reminds me a bit of Jeepers Creepers. Anyway, this is called A Savage Breed, and this is by Patrick C. Harrison III. Like I said, you can see the wings here spread out and everything. And I was looking at her hair. Her hair almost looks like a scorpion stinger. The braid right there. Anyway, again, the artwork's by Justin Coons. He does all the artwork on these books. And I hope he doesn't stop doing the artwork on these books because they're just freaking fantastic. All right? Savage Breed. A ruthless band of outlaws makes good their escape from execution. A mountain man seeks justice for the grisly murders of his wife and daughter. A sharp-tongued teenager flees her newly widowed mother in search of adventure. Amongst the eerie peaks and crevices of the Wichita Mountains, this assembly of pariahs converge. But it isn't just each other they need be concerned about, because there's more than frigid winds in the skies of Indian country. And again, that sounds like the creature from Jeepers Creepers. It's awesome. Yeah, all right. And this one is by Patrick C. Harrison. There is his mug shot. Sorry about the glare. There's kind of some glare on the thing, too. He is wanted for firing a cannon at tax collectors. Wait a minute. He's wanted for firing a cannon at tax collectors. First of all, I'm trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with firing a cannon at tax collectors. He shouldn't be wanted. He should be, rewarded or something, man. Nobody wants to give their taxes away. Nobody wants to pay taxes. Who wants to pay taxes? I don't want to pay taxes, but you got to. All right, next up we have another splatter western, book 7, Red Station. And this is by Kinsey Jennings. There is a house overlooking the vast rolling plains, a home station where a traveler will be welcomed with a piping hot meal and a downy bed. It is a refuge for the weary, a beacon for the lost, a place where blood and bones feed the land. For 4 stagecoach passengers, a doctor in search of a missing father and daughter, a newlywed couple on their way to their homestead, and a lady in red with a bag filled with secrets. Their night at Red Station has only just begun. And again, this is by Kinsey Jennings. Here's her mugshot. There we go. Let me try to get Patrick Harrison's back in there a little bit better. There we go. All right. Kinsey, what is Kinsey wanted for? For correcting a lawman's grammar. Kinsey, you are my new hero. Because you have no idea how much I cringe whenever I hear somebody say the word supposedly. It's not a freaking word. So yes, Kinsey, if you corrected this lawman's grammar, kudos to you. Thank you. Anyway, that is the splatter western books. Anyway, next up, I got 2 more books here. This is going on a little bit too long, I think. Anyway, this is from Robert E. Dunn. I just finished his book, The Sound of Distant Engines, a couple of books or so ago. Really freaking enjoyed it. All right. And he sent me another one of his called Motorman. And again, this is one that it's not necessarily a horror. It's probably a little bit of horror, a little bit of sci-fi, a little bit of fast cars and stuff. And I love those fast car movies that from the 70s and stuff. Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. You got Vanishing Point, Gone in 60 Seconds. I watched the original Gone in 60 Seconds for the first time in nearly 40, maybe almost, probably about 4 years. I went to see it with my dad when it first came out. And really all I remembered from back then was him stealing all the cars. I didn't realize he had this crew and stuff. I didn't realize that just so much else was behind it. But I loved it for the car chases. I loved it for the fast cars and stuff. And if you're thinking I need to check out the Fast and Furious movies, no. I hate those movies. I don't like them at all right? Because the things they have, those aren't cars. All right. The Challengers from Vanishing Point, that's a car. The Camaro or the Firebird or whatever from Smokey and the Bandit, that's a freaking car. The little cars they drive around and the Fast and Furious, sorry to say, but those are sewing machines. Mutated sewing machines is what they are. All right. Sorry, and I know I'm probably stepping on some toes here. I just don't like those movies. If you like them, that's great. If you like the kind of cars in the movies, that's great. I don't. Okay. Sorry. Okay. All right. Anyway, this is Motorman. And the front of it says, a man on the run, a crazy scientist, damaged people, fast cars, and a blue goo all collide in Motorman. It's Robert D. Dunn. Let's see here. Running from a night of humiliation and murder, Johnny Burns leaves the city in his junkyard home, fleeing into the Ozarks countryside. While on the road, mysterious streaks of blue lights in the night sky drive him into a forgotten bit of nowhere lost in the hills. Johnny thinks he's found home and good work in an odd little gas station from another time. Johnny quickly gets pulled into a world where the cars aren't the only things, all chromed out, and everything seems touched with the energy of the flying blue streaks that led Johnny there. Enticed and torn between two sisters, one an outcast for her normality, the other a beautiful monster, Johnny becomes the pawn of their father. The old man is both the town's mechanic and its doctor. He's looking for a replacement, and Burris. I'm seeing Burns. Sorry about that. Burris is the man with just the right skills. When Johnny learns the truth behind the doctor's plans, he runs, taking one of the normal sisters with him. But the town and the girl turn out to be even more than he imagined, and his whole world comes down to just one choice: live as a monster, making monsters, or die like a man. If he chooses to die, who will he take with him? That is Motorman. Robert E. Dunn. All right, I'm finally finished with this last one here, and this is another one I wanted to give away on Instagram. And I'm supposed to get some swag with this, like some bookmarks and stuff like that. It has not arrived yet. I've written them, and they've said, hey, we're going to resend it. We don't know what happened, but I know the postal service is really bad right now because of Christmas with COVID and all that. But anyway, this is It Calls from the Sky. And this is It Calls from the Forest. There are two books in that series, and then the next one in the series is It Calls from the Sky. And this was signed by one of the authors, and I want to make sure I get his name right. And he said, Dear John, thanks for reading. Right here, signed it. Good Lord. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't get to it. Can't show it. I apologize for that. Jay Sandlin. Yeah, Jay signed this one. Let's see some of the story names in this. And these, of course, have all to do with stuff that comes from the sky. Maybe cosmic horror, maybe UFOs, maybe monsters from the sky. Who knows? I don't know. All right. Let's see what we got here. Some of the titles. Ascension by R.L. Mesa. The Forgotten Prince by Elizabeth Nettleton. Hate Sky by Jay Sandlin. Flash by C.A. McDonald. These aren't all the stories. Let me see here. Rainfall by our very own Marie McWilliams. And if you had not read Marie's, good Lord, I cannot remember the name of her book. I'm so sorry about that. Goodness gracious, I'm drawing a blank. If I remember it, I will put it down in the description below. I'm sorry, but I read it and I really enjoyed it. It's more of a crime, mystery thriller than it is horror, but it's really well done. Mirrors? Broken Mirrors. Broken Mirrors, I believe is the title. Yes, Broken Mirrors. I believe I'm correct about the title of that. Anyway, let's see. On a Wing and a Prayer by Tim Mendes. The Traveler by G. Allen Wilbanks. And then finally, let's see. Let me pick one. Yeah, Keep One in the Chamber by T.M. Brown. Anyway, that is It Calls from the Sky. And these are horror stories, sci-fi stories. Not really sure exactly what, but they all deal with things that come from the sky. All right, that's going to do it. This is my January 2021 TBR. Can I get through all these books, or am I freaking crazy? I don't know. Actually, I do know that I'm freaking crazy. I mean, that's been pretty well established. I mean, just ask my wife. I can go, honey, am I crazy? She goes, oh, yes, you are. All right, so there you go. Anyway, it is Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays to everybody. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe out there. Again, this is going to post on Saturday at 2:30 in the afternoon. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day, wonderful Christmas, wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.